Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Hey folks, Kagan here. As you know, I'm always staying on top of the fitness world, keeping up with current trends. One form of exercise that's been around for ages and is currently being rediscovered is suspension bodyweight training. So if you're looking for a way to get in shape, improve your health, and train your body to move in new ways, then the X1 by Israel Gym Systems is for you. Find out more on our website at www.israelgym.com or look for our page on Facebook, Israel Gym Systems X1. Israel Gym X1, Higia Hazman.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed Frequent Flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Harry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.IsraelGym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1, Higia Hazman.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Forces are in full flight. We're coming by air and on the ground. Monday Night Football's taking over the town. We gotta get ready. We gotta get right. It's gonna be a battle in the NFL tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night invasion.
Welcome, IFL Nation, to a special wild card Monday night at a special wild card time, 8:30 p.m. on Monday night. Thank you for joining us. It's been a wild weekend in the IFL, coast to coast this past weekend, on a little bit of a wet weekend. On Thursday night, the IFL was in Yehud for the first time. We played a game there between the Sabres and the Hammers. The Hammers put up a strong fight. Ultimately, the Sabres did come away with the victory. Adi Hakami didn't really do very much, just threw 6 times, 18 yards. It was more of a running game. The rain has a penchant for being an equalizer. And what generally happens is that you never know. As the Sabres did fumble the ball 6 times, they lost 2 of them. The Hammers only lost 2 fumbles as well, but they only let go of the football 4 times. But interceptions were very, very key in this game. Although the Sabres did throw 4 interceptions, they came at points that were less pivotal in the game. And as well, the kick return. Once again, Eric Spitzer gashed another defense for this time was a 59-yard kick return that got, the Hammers got on the board first, a 27-yard field goal. It looked like they were going to make a very strong game of it. What turned out is that the Sabres scored the next 4 touchdowns. One by Eric Spitzer, Corey Zinker, who's seen many more carries. Ryan Michaels had a pair of touchdowns, one in the rain, one after it had subsided on the other side of the break. Shabi Shavit made it a bit close, 28-11 in the third quarter, but Corey Zinker had his second score of the day, and Saeed Abulafia with his first career safety. He won't let any of us forget about that. Saeed Abulafia, first career safety, rounded out the scoring in a 36-11 match, brings the Sabres to 4-1, drops the Hammers to 2-2. Both of them still look good to make the playoffs, although that third spot in the North Division is going to be brutal for that. Look, right now, just to review over the standings, a quick rundown. In the North Division, the Sabres top it off with a 4-1 record. The Haifa Underdogs, the resurgent Nemo family Haifa Underdogs, next at 3-1. The Pioneers, who will be playing this Friday in Shlomi against the expansion North Stars, are at 2-1. They again had their opening night game against the Lions postponed for administrative reasons, and we are still figuring out a date to make that up. The Hammers now are at 2-2. So if the season were to end today, the Hammers would be left out of the playoff picture. The Hammers are once again only a second-year team from the region of Hatikva, Shchunat Hatikva in Tel Aviv. They play out of Beit Dani. A lot of very good things going on in that team. They have a new coach, Uri. A lot of the returning players, a lot of them are helping out in the coaching staff. Shabi Shavit, one of the best running backs in the IFL. We'll go over some of the stats a little bit later on in the show. But there's a lot going on for the Hammers that they have to really be excited about this year. But we all know, unless they make the playoffs, it's going to go down as a disappointing season. That's the way expectations work. You come in, you think things are going well. Adi Totach was supposed to be the quarterback. He's injured. They have Tel-Aviv under center these days. Didn't have a great game, 3 picks. But he wasn't as bad as his numbers will suggest. He was only 3 of 16 for 33 yards. But the Reina would do that to you. It wasn't his best game. It won't go down in his scrapbook, but he's still learning. The North Stars at 0-4. I guess they're still hoping for one victory at least this year when they play the expansion brethren on the other side of the table in the South Division, the Petah Tikva Troopers, who are in action this week. But they round out the North Division at 0-4. In the South, the Big Blue Jerusalem Lions, they are the only undefeated team in the IFL. They're 4-0. Rolling right along. It doesn't seem like anything's going to stop them but maybe injuries, and unless someone figures out how to bottle up Binyamin Schultz, put pressure on Chaim Schiff, rattle the quarterback is always a good recipe for success in football. We'll discuss a little bit later some of the NFL games and the analogies we can make to our IFL season as we head towards the home stretch. Some of the teams have played half their regular season games already. The Judean Rebels, a bit of an enigma this year. They lost. They're the defending champions. No one could take that away from them. A lot of returning talent, a lot of departing talent. Not that their talent went to other teams. Rather, they went on to, in the case of reigning MVP Alex Swiek, a better, greener, bluer, mazer pastures. Or some of the guys just left the country. John Barbados, the Elayan brothers, all three of them, Muhammad, Ayub, and Musa. And the team misses them. Matt Geller, Ricky Wolder. But they're still rolling right along. The Judean Rebels improved to 3-2 this week with a resounding 64-6 victory over the Petah Tikva Troopers Saturday night in Maccabi Petah Tikva Fields. Don't worry, Avi Luzon was not there. He had no contact with any of the referees before the game. 64-6. I guess Joe Marticius, almost a perfect game, 12 of 15 for 148 yards and 2 scores. Moshe Lewis came in with 6 of 12 to spell him in the third and fourth quarters. 6 different Rebels caught passes. 5 of them caught multiple passes. It really spreading that offense around. But the real story of this game was Zach Miller. Zach Miller, Pops, really, in his final game, unless they could coax him back for a few more for a good playoff run, I'm sure they're going to keep him on the roster. He scored an IFL record 6 touchdowns on 16 touches from the backfield, 109 yards rushing. He also caught 3 passes for another 33 yards. Close to 150 total yards for Zach Miller and 6 touchdowns. Clearly, the name of the game was to get Zach Miller in the end zone. So much so that they were passing the ball, trying to get him that 7th touchdown with less than a minute left. The Petah Tikva Troopers weren't so thrilled about that, but that's Sean Payton-esque. Just a couple of weeks ago, we saw the New Orleans Saints try to get Drew Brees, Dan Marino's record, and they were still throwing the ball late in a blowout victory over the Atlanta Falcons. But that's the way things go. Sports are competitive. They're about milestones. They're about having fun. And everyone on the Rebels was having fun, at least. As for Petah Tikva, they still lost with their heads held up high. Johnny Alon had a tough day at the office, 2 of 16, 12 yards with a pair of picks. Raviv Daron was 3 of 5 for 8 yards. Yeah, Chris Daves still powered that offense. He scored the only touchdown of the game in the first quarter, right after the Rebels had scored on the next possession on a fake punt or on a mistaken punt that the snap was not there. Chris Daves with a 41-yard run up the sideline for a touchdown. But it was all Rebels from there. When I say all Rebels, I mean they scored the next 9 scores were theirs, 8 touchdowns and a safety to round out that scoring at 64-6. And in the sandwich game of the week, up in Haifa at Riali, the ISD Jerusalem Kings traveled up there, and it looked like this was going to be a close game against the Haifa underdogs. But the Haifa machine turned it back on after really a couple of 4th down conversions that really they both were turned into touchdowns. It looks like the Kings were going to stop them, but Haifa Shachar Yeshurun hit Dan Vardy on one, hit Jordan Machluf on the other. Shachar Yeshurun had a great day, 8 of 13, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Matt Kaufman came in through another touchdown. Shmuel Cooperman, Shmulik, a pair of touchdowns. Dan Vardy with a pair of touchdowns. The Kings are looking like a good football team. There's nothing that's broken. In the past seasons, the Kings, they showed up to this game, full roster. They were there an hour and a half before the game, ready to go. They were there on the sidelines, coached well. But Haifa really came ready to play. They wanted to defend their home field. They had over 150 high school students in attendance. We played at the Uriel school. Right after the Underdogs game, there was a IFL high school preseason game between the Uriel Rams and the Renana Raiders. The Raiders came out on top of that one in a giant-esque 26-2 victory. The only points were on a safety. But the Haifa Underdogs, and there's a lot of good stuff going on in Haifa football-wise, but the Haifa Underdogs improved to 3-1 after a little bit of a setback with the previous Saturday night in Tel Aviv. They lost 20-8. The Haifa Underdogs are back on track. They head into a tough game against the Hammers. They're off this weekend, but next Friday they're traveling to play on the road against the Hammers. That's an important game. They're essentially playing for second place in the North Division. The Hammers will improve to 3-2 with a win, and the Underdogs will fall to 3-2. The Hammers will take that, they'll tie the season series. They played each other a few weeks ago in Athlete, and the Underdogs came out on top of that one. But a lot of exciting stuff going on in the IFL. We have another packed weekend. We're going to talk about some stats. We're going to talk a little bit more about Zach Miller. We're going to try to get some guests. The phone lines are open here in Israel, 02-563-1492. Toll free from North America, 1-301-850-2484. You're listening to the Myral Kraft IFL show on Israel Sports Radio.
You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Hey folks, Kagan here. As you know, I'm always staying on top of the fitness world, keeping up with current trends. One form of exercise that's been around for ages and is currently being rediscovered is suspension bodyweight training. So if you're looking for a way to get in shape, improve your health, and train your body to move in new ways, then the X1 by Israel Gym Systems is for you. Find out more on our website at www.israelgym.com or look for our page on Facebook, Israel Gym Systems X1. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed Frequent Flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Harry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.israelgym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
And welcome back to the Myral Kraft Israel Football League show on Israel Sports Radio. I'm Uriel Sturm, the commissioner of the IFL, and one of the exciting things that is happening in Israeli football this time of year is now, right around now, is when the IFL high school season is about to kick off with its second season ever. That is definitely going to be exciting. Tomorrow night in Kfar Saba, we have the Be'er Sheva team for the first time ever playing against a defending finalist from last year's inaugural season, the Kfar Saba Hawks, coached by Itai Ashkenazi and Gilad Shalem, both of IFL renowned fame. And Be'er Sheva is run by Amit Benvenisti, Chen Daron, Meir Peretz, and a bunch of other Black Swarm players. So there's really a lot of IFL blood in these teams. They've really been trained by players, grassroots as everything in the IFL is. But the Be'er Sheva Spartans will be facing the Kfar Saba Hawks in what should be a very, very interesting preseason tilt. This season, the IFL High School League will kick off with 8 teams. Last year, there were only 4 teams in the league, 5 teams in the league. There were 3 teams from Jerusalem, Boyer, Liada, and Orly Print Ravens. And then we had the Kiryat Ono Wolves and the Kfar Saba Hawks. This year, Renana has gotten in on the mix. The Reali Rams out of Haifa, and the Be'er Sheva Spartans. So there's 3 expansion teams in the IFL High School League. And for those of you out there who want to play tackle football and of the ages between 14 and 18, you could contact us at, you could check out, and here we have a call. Amit, I want to know if you want to come on the radio show. Okay, later. See, everyone's in practice. Our teams are that dedicated that they're all practicing all the time. That's what football in Israel is all about. I guess Allen Iverson may not agree, but practice is very important in a amateur football league where a lot of the players are very inexperienced and they're learning the sport. Every single practice they get to improves them as a player. It's not just the small things, the fundamentals. A lot of them are still improving on a lot of our players at both the high school and the senior levels. And you see that improvement out in the games every week. The reason you see the improvement is because of practice. Football is a very, very intense game, both physically and psychologically and mentally. You have to be very mentally tough and mentally strong, both to grasp all the concepts that are being thrown at you by the coaches, to get out there on the field and execute that, as well as just to stay competitive, to have that competitive force. You're sacrificing your body. You have to have that drive. You can't go out there when you're just not focused. It's that focus that it takes. And obviously the physical intensity of the sport is more visible on a play-by-play basis, and it really takes a lot to play the sport of football, and part of that comes in practice. The coaches have to instill a lot. That's one of the things we've seen improved on in the few years that the IFL has been in existence. One of the year-by-year developments of the league has been in the coaching. The coaching strength, I think, now has become one of the overall strengths of the league, because I feel confident that our teams are being coached properly by people who know what they're doing, even if they may have not known what they're doing when they started, but they know what they're doing, and it plays itself out there in the results. You see the teams are organized. Even if the results may not be there, a team has to win and a team has to lose in every game. But the teams come to the games more prepared. They know what they're doing. They have their plays down pat. You don't see as much just chaos out there on the field when plays break down. The quarterback reads his check downs, will go to one of them, looks through his different options. Doesn't just zone in on one receiver. The cornerbacks are improving. The defenses are now reading what the offenses are doing. The offenses are responding. They're changing up plays with audibles at the line of scrimmage. There's really a lot happening. And now that's starting to seep down into the high school league as well. So, in the South Division this year, we have Boyer, the Boyer Predators, the Beersheva Spartans, the Orly Print Ravens, and the formerly Liada, now the Jerusalem United Rhinos. In the North Division, we have the Kfar Saba Hawks, the Kiryat Ono Wolves, the Renana Raiders, and the Reali Rams. It's shaping up to be a blockbuster second year. It's the regular season begins already next Wednesday night. Orly Print Ravens will travel to Kfar Saba in the first game of the season. And then the following week, there's 2 games, 4 more teams in action, 3 games really. You know, we're starting to have tackle football games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Tackle football in Israel. Really, that's what we've gotten to. From the 24th through the 28th, there's a game in Jerusalem, a game in Kiryat Ono, a game in Herzliya, a game in Haifa, and a game in Tel Aviv. 5 nights, 5 locations. The IFL, including the high school league, will be in 5 different places. That's very impressive. If I could say going back a week, they'll be in Kfar Saba, up in Shlomi, in Hatikva, and in Beersheva. So really, you could go over a span of 10 days and there'll be, or 11 days, and there'll be 9 games played by the IFL. 2 days off. The Sunday and Monday will be off. But 9 out of 11 days. It's really going to be something. Both for the mileage on the gas, the mileage on the players' bodies. It's going to be quite the experience. I hope we have some of the documentary guys back, but it's going to be exciting. A lot is happening, and these high school guys, I'm telling you, they hit almost harder than some of these old guys. The old guys have a little more fear. All of us know that 18, 16, 17-year-old kids, they don't fear very much. They are fearless. They give them bodies up like they put their all into these tackles. Sometimes it's reckless, but at least they're not driving a car. Or maybe their head is maybe a little bit more important, but you know what? They're being taught and coached in the right way. And we're seeing this is the next wave of football in Israel. These guys may go to the army, but their younger brothers are watching them play. Football is really weaving itself into the fabric of Israeli society slowly but surely throughout the country, not just in Jerusalem. And really, there's a lot happening. Just going over this week's schedule. There's tomorrow night, Beersheva Kfar Saba High School League. Then Thursday night, there's a doubleheader at Kraft Stadium. The Kiryat Ono Wolves will come to play the Boyer Predators at 6 p.m., followed by a Jerusalem derby. The Big Blue Jerusalem Lions in the IFL will take on the ISD Jerusalem Kings. Always an exciting showdown when those two city rivals clash. On Friday, the Pioneers will travel north to Shlomi to face the Northern Stars, who are searching for their first victory. And then on Saturday night, the Rebels are on the road once again, this time in Beersheva, which should be a great game against the Black Swarm. A 9:30 kickoff in Micha Reiser Fields in Beersheva. So the IFL, I'm telling you, once the schedule starts, it doesn't really stop. It's exciting. It's tiring. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Chat in, call in. We'll be back on the other side of the break. This is the Myral Kraft IFL show on Israel Sports Radio.
You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Hey folks, Kagan here. As you know, I'm always staying on top of the fitness world, keeping up with current trends. One form of exercise that's been around for ages and is currently being rediscovered is suspension bodyweight training. So if you're looking for a way to get in shape, improve your health, and train your body to move in new ways, then the X1 by Israel Gym Systems is for you. Find out more on our website at www.israelgym.com or look for our page on Facebook, Israel Gym Systems X1. Israel Gym X1, Higia Hazman.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed Frequent Flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.israelgym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1, Higia Hazman.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Myral Kraft IFL show on Israel Sports Radio. We're going to spend this segment, I'm telling you, every one of our teams is in practice. So it's difficult to get any guests. We're going to have to try to switch up our time maybe to allow our players to listen and to participate in this Myral Kraft IFL show on Israel Sports Radio. But all you listeners out there can participate. You could chat in or dial in within Israel 02-563-1492 or in toll-free in the U.S. or Canada 1-301-850-2484. We're sitting by waiting for your calls. Our operators are standing by. And we're going to talk a little bit about some stats. We'll start with quarterbacks. This year in the IFL, we've seen an expansion of the aerial attack. Chaim Schiff tops all quarterbacks in most of the statistical categories, not in completions, but in completion percentage. He's completed more than 60% of his passes for 661 yards with 17 TDs against just one pick. That is quite impressive, 17 TDs against one pick. Joe Martitius has 549 yards, 10 TDs, and 0 picks. Adi Hakami has 11 touchdowns on the year, but 4 picks and 420 yards. Once again, he was thrown out of one of the games early on, so his stats may have been a little better. If otherwise, Tel-Aviv, 5 touchdowns and 5 picks. Jonathan Curran, 1 TD and 6 picks. I think maybe his stint as a quarterback may be done. Corin Cohn, who is one of the IFL's leading rushers from under center for the Black Swarm, 7 touchdowns, 470 yards through the air, but does have 6 interceptions on the year. But the IFL, and Archie Eichhorn, of the Kings. He has the most completions this year in the IFL. I think that would be pretty surprising for most of you listeners out there. He does have the most attempts, 110 attempts, but he has 40 completions, completing under 40% of his passes. But does have 8 TDs and 5 picks. He does throw a nice ball. Maybe his decision-making is going to need to improve a little bit more if he's going to take the Kings on his back to the playoffs. But he has shown signs of brilliance out there, signs of good things to come for the Kings if they could give him some time. The offensive line definitely needs improvement as well. But I guess that's something to be said in all. If you look at the receivers, who's catching these balls? Well, Idan Yaron, who single-handedly almost won the game last week for the Pioneers against the Haifa Underdogs with 3 touchdowns. There are only 3 touchdowns. He has 17 receptions, just those 3 touchdowns on the year, but 235 yards. Benjamin Schultz leads in overall yards with 14 receptions, almost 300 yards, 293 yards, and 5 TDs. Or Jupiter and Elias Matuko both have 6 touchdowns, which tops the list, followed by Schultz. And then a bunch of people, including Roy Rubenstein, Donnie Schachter, Idan Yaron, all with 3. And then there's more than 10 with 2 touchdowns on the year. But there's only 10 receivers in the IFL that have double digits in receptions this year. You would think Roy Rubenstein, Liran Galili, Eric Spitzer, Shmulek Cooperman, but no. They're 9, 8, 7, 7. But running down the list, we have Idan Yaron with 17. Ephraim Schwartz of the Jerusalem Kings, who was missed dearly this past Friday, with 14 receptions. Benjamin Schultz tied with 14. Dvir Argoan of the Troopers. Who would have guessed? 13 in his rookie season. 13 receptions for 107 yards, still looking to get into the end zone and taste that scoring syrup. Brandon McDougald, who's a star running back, as we'll get to, but does have 12 receptions and 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sounds like a day in the life of Calvin Johnson. Roy Ziv of the Northern Stars, 12 receptions, also really one of the only offensive threats on that expansion team out north. 2 TDs. Or Jupiter, 11 receptions, some of them of the acrobatic sort. 208 yards, 6 touchdowns. And Elias Matuko, 11 receptions as well, 6 TDs. And then Yitzchak Landau of the Kings. So the Kings have 2 of the top 10. He has 10 receptions and 4 touchdowns. The Kings, although they're only sitting at a 1-4 record, have 2 of the top 10 receivers. The Lions also have 2 of the top 10. And the Hammers, who have no one there, place in 13 and 14, with Roy Rubenstein and Liran Galili being the dual threats, both with 7 receptions. Rubenstein with 3 scores, Galili with 1. But the offense is being spread around this year in the IFL. Moving on to running backs, we could look Brandon McDougald out of Beersheva to go along with his 2 touchdowns through the air, has 10 scores on the ground, 47 attempts, 431 yards. So he's averaging a healthy 6 yards, 8 yards an attempt almost, 9 yards an attempt almost. So it's quite good for McDougald out there. Corin Cohn, his teammate, quarterback, is number 2 on the list. Only 2 touchdowns, but 261 yards on the ground, followed by Shabi Shavit, who broke out a 31-yard score this past Thursday night against the Sabres. Corey Zinker of the Sabres, really a power back in every which way. 4 touchdowns, 189 bruising yards. Yosef Ben Chamu of the Rebels. He only played 3 games, really 2.5, but he lit things on fire, 177 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he's being dearly missed by the Rebels. Zach Miller, who we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute, and Joe Martitius, just 2 yards separating the two of them. So there are a lot of Rebels out there. Benjamin Schultz, Danny Brill, a pair of Lions, Ephraim Schwartz as well. So there's a lot of multi-threat talents in the IFL this year who are a threat to run the ball, pass the ball, keep the defenses on their toes. You never know what to expect, a little Tebow-esque. Yesterday I saw a crazy stat. Of all the crazy stats, this is just another one to throw at you. Denver Broncos in yesterday's thriller AFC wildcard upset of the Pittsburgh Steelers in overtime. In 21 of their 22 first downs, they ran the ball. On the 22nd, they threw an 80-yard completion for the game-winning touchdown on the first play from scrimmage in overtime. So, it goes to show you defenses, they begin to rely on something, and then you could burn them. If a defense doesn't know what to expect, you could burn them every which way. That's, I guess, how the New Orleans Saints work these days. They carved out that Detroit Lions defense 48-25 victory in a game. The Lions had them in the first half. The Saints only scored 10 points. They scored 35 of their 45 points in the second half. And you never know. Darren Sproles out of the backfield could catch passes. They have Jimmy Graham, Robert Meacham. They have, Marcus Colston. They have really a lot of options. Drew Brees, Chris Ivory, Mark Ingram's injured, but Pierre was back in the lineup. So Pierre Thomas. So really, there's a lot that some of our teams could learn from that. If you keep the defenses on their toes, then it's going to be a good recipe for success in every league. Moving on, just to discuss a little bit about Zach Miller. Zach Miller played football in high school. He became religious, and he left football. He could have, I don't know where he would have taken it, but definitely had a talent. He's a running back, very quick. He was 19 years old. He left football when he started keeping Shabbat. And it was a big part of his life, and I think the Zach Miller story is one that people in our league could emulate. He retired this past Saturday night, barring, I don't think we've seen the last of Zach Miller, whether it's on the sideline, in uniform, or as part of a league administration, or in some capacity, he's going to stay connected to the IFL. He's a credit to the league, but he had 6 touchdowns on IFL record in this his maiden voyage, as it were. And Zach Miller will always be remembered as one of the character guys in the league, never said a peep, never complained about how many touches he was getting, never wanted to be in the spotlight, just did his job and did it well. He leads the IFL in 2-point conversions historically. He leads the IFL in running backs who have more than 50 carries and never having lost the fumble. He's 4th in the historical IFL leaders in points scored. And he will go out as a potential future Hall of Famer in the IFL. Zach Miller. Zach Miller was with the Rebels since their inception. Dearly missed on and off the field. And he wrote a little letter to the Rebels that I'd like to read. With his permission, of course, which we got. He was unable to come on to the show tonight. But in his words, I'd like to read. This is a letter Zach Miller of the Judean Rebels wrote to his teammates. And I'd just like to share it with you guys, our listeners. I couldn't say it any better myself. One thing I want to say, Zach writes, I left playing football at 19 years old when I started keeping Shabbat. Now, I was never really going to go anywhere with it, but it had been such a big part of my life for as long as I could remember. I hadn't finished playing when I decided to stop. I ended up leaving my college to go to another. It just wasn't the way things were supposed to play out. I gave up a lot of me to become religious. Fast forward almost 20 years, and I'm living in Israel, and my wife tells me there's this huge guy in her school. She's studying Chinese medicine with payas, and he's forming a football team. For almost 20 years, I had hidden part of myself very far away and didn't share it with anyone. I remember calling Barya to discuss playing. He probably doesn't remember my call, but it changed my life. That call in the past 2.5 years have enabled me to reconnect with part of myself that I had hidden. It enabled me to reconnect with who I am, with my wife, and with my children. By playing football and joining an amazing team that is the Rebels, I was able to let my guard down and share that piece of myself with the people who I love, my family and my team. I've gotten a lot of responsibilities on my shoulders, raising 5 kids and being a good father and husband. Not surprisingly, though I still find myself wondering how I got here. But it's also an awesome challenge and incredibly rewarding. I need to take this care of my own business. I remember my junior high school coach saying to us that as a football player is first and foremost a man, and men need to take care of their business responsibly. If you can't take care of your business off the field, you can't really take care of it on the field. I'm not quitting on you or the Rebels. I'm taking care of what I need to take care of, which means giving my family more of me. And I'm also doubling down my efforts to support them financially. With just 24 hours in the day, I couldn't get to everything. I want to thank each and every one of you and hope that playing this amazing game, you're finding exactly who and what kind of men you are. So when it comes time to get married and have a family, you don't really need a sport to define that for you. You'll know in your hearts exactly what you have to give to your spouse, friends, kids, whatever, to truly give. And that's what's good. Solid relationships require. You need to know yourself first. That's the main lesson I've learned from over 17 years of marriage. That's a lifelong process, and football is a powerful teacher. Enjoy it. Savor it. When you're done, you don't have to look back at these times longingly, because if you're doing it right, you take these times with you and you build on them. I think anyone who has played football in the IFL or anywhere else could echo those sentiments. And with that, we'll go to break. And a tribute to Zach Miller, who he may not play another IFL down, but he will not be forgotten in the record books of the IFL for many years to come. This is Israel Sports Radio.
You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Hey folks, Kagan here. As you know, I'm always staying on top of the fitness world, keeping up with current trends. One form of exercise that's been around for ages and is currently being rediscovered is suspension bodyweight training. So if you're looking for a way to get in shape, improve your health, and train your body to move in new ways, then the X1 by Israel Gym Systems is for you. Find out more on our website at www.israelgym.com or look for our page on Facebook, Israel Gym Systems X1. Israel Gym X1, Higia Hazman.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed Frequent Flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.israelgym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
And welcome back to the Myral Kraft Israel Sports Radio IFL show. And on the last segment of the show, before we preview this week's IFL games, it'd be impossible as a football fan not to go back to some of the NFL games this past weekend and review some of the action that took place. We saw on Saturday, we saw the Cincinnati Bengals go one and done in the playoffs. The Texans really took it to them, 31-10. It hinged on a pick six at the end of the first half. The Texans were losing this game 10-3. And then they got two quick scores right before the half and coasted in the second half. Then we saw the Saints, Drew Brees, and the New Orleans Machine took it to Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and the Detroit Lions. It was a great game, but the Saints moved on. They'll next travel to face the San Francisco 49ers in an NFC divisional matchup that should be fantastic. The Texans, meanwhile, will be traveling to Baltimore in an AFC matchup. That's going to be a really hard-hitting matchup. You know, Andre Johnson is back. Yes, Matt Schaub is still away, but TJ Yates is not looking too bad. Arian Foster, Ben Tate, they're really not looking bad. That Texans running game with Andre Johnson there, he stretches the field as well. He's going to score a touchdown, at least one a game, every game he plays in, it seems. So that's going to be exciting. We saw Big Blue, the G-Men, the New York Giants come away with a 24-2 smackdown of the Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons, twice on 4th and inches on what were the pivotal plays of the game. The Falcons could not complete a first down. A pitiful performance by the Atlanta Falcons offense, who didn't score 1 point on the day. They had averaged 33 points over their past 4 games, didn't score 1. They did get 2 points on a safety on an errant throw that was called a penalty, intentional grounding out of the Giants' end zone by Eli Manning. Other than that, Eli Manning had a picture-perfect performance, 3 touchdowns, 289 yards, 0 picks. Hakeem Nicks, 2 touchdowns, 1 short, 1 long. Mario Manningham with a beautiful touchdown reception on a perfectly lofted pass into the end zone by Manning. The Giants will have to travel to Green Bay now to face the 15-1 Green Bay Packers, and Aaron Rodgers is chomping at the bit. The Packers, the whole team, looking for revenge of that matchup in 2007 when the Giants came in and denied Green Bay a trip to the Super Bowl in Brett Favre's final season with the Pack. Then, Tim Tebow in the house, in every house, across North America, electrifying 29-23 victory for the the Denver Tebow Broncos over the Pittsburgh Steelers. In a game that the Steelers came in favored by 8.5 points. The Broncos jumped out with a 20-point second quarter to take a 26 lead. Ben Roethlisberger, who looked more like 45 than 29 on that hobbling ankle of his, but did somehow bring the Steelers back to tie the game on a touchdown by Jericho Cotchery in the end of the fourth quarter. And new overtime rules in place guarantees both teams the possession unless the team first with possession either gives up a defensive touchdown or scores a touchdown themselves. And lo and behold, that is what happened on the very first play after a touchback on the kickoff. The Denver Broncos, there was some question as to maybe teams would choose to kick in this so they would know what the other team did so they could go for a field goal or a touchdown for the win, or to extend overtime. But you know what? As the Broncos showed in this, the first time that the rules were in place. It's not worth it to not have to give up a chance with the ball on the very first play. Tebow hit Demetrius Thomas, stiff-armed Ike Taylor out of the way, and was off to the races for an 80-yard touchdown into the tunnel. The Broncos next Saturday night, this upcoming Saturday night, will travel to New England to face the New England Patriots, who were 13-3 this season. Although the Patriots didn't beat a team with a winning record, they beat 6 teams who finished 8-8, but they did not beat a team with a winning record all season. Very interesting. And 2 of the teams they lost to, the Steelers and the Giants, both finished with winning records. And the other team they lost to, the Buffalo Bills, did not. But at the time they had a winning record. But it's interesting, 13 wins, not one of them to a team with a winning record. But they'll face Tim Tebow, who also, now he has a winning record, 9-8, but he did not finish the regular season with a winning record, 8-8, backdoored into the playoffs with 3 consecutive losses, win on tiebreakers. But that's what 6 consecutive victories mid-season will do to you, as Tim Tebow piloted the club to. They'll now have a chance, a rematch with Tom Brady, this one in Foxborough, which brings us full circle back to the IFL. The Kraft family IFL, the Kraft family New England Patriots. This weekend in the IFL, we also have an exciting matchup on Thursday, as I described earlier, a doubleheader in the capital. Boyer will face the Kiryat Ono Wolves at 6 p.m., followed by the Lions and the Kings. Chaim Schiff, Benjamin Schultz will take on the Kings, playing for the second week in a row, but they're playing at home this time. On Friday, the Tel Aviv Pioneers go on the road to Shlomi to face the Northern Stars, searching for their first victory. On Saturday, the Rebels on the road to face the Beersheba Black Storm, which should be a great divisional South Division matchup of 2 teams that are going to be vying for second place. The IFL playoff structure this year works a little differently. We cross over in the playoffs, so 3 teams from each division will qualify. The first place teams will get first round byes. The second place teams will host the third place teams in the other division. Meaning if the playoffs were to begin today, the underdogs, the Sabres and the Lions, would get a bye. The underdogs would host the Black Swarm. The Rebels would host the Pioneers. At that point, the victors of those will face the first place team in the playoffs, and from there we'll have our Israel Bowl matchup. So it's still a while to go, but now is when the team, around halfway through the season, they're turning the corner, starting to think towards the playoffs, towards making sure they're healthy for the playoffs. They're getting their game plan in order for the playoffs. It's going to be an exciting couple months in the IFL. The IFL High School League is always exciting as the season gets going and every team thinks they have a chance to really show the other teams what they're all about. It's really an exciting time to be an Israeli football fan. Till next week, this is Uriel Sturm on the Myral Kraft IFL show on Israel Sports Radio.
You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Hey folks, Kagan here. As you know, I'm always staying on top of the fitness world, keeping up with current trends. One form of exercise that's been around for ages and is currently being rediscovered is suspension bodyweight training. So if you're looking for a way to get in shape, improve your health, and train your body to move in new ways, then the X1 by Israel Gym Systems is for you. Find out more on our website at www.israelgym.com or look for our page on Facebook, Israel Gym Systems X1. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed frequent flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Harry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.IsraelGym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Take a shot.